something just happened there, guys. I think I accidentally turned off my phone by my watch or something. So we're going to stop playing with that. Let me just make sure this is working here. I think it's working. But anyways, guys, so there might be two parts to this video because now I'm just like uncomfortable by the fact that maybe it didn't work. It says it's going. I'm going to say it's going. But anyways, guys, I learned about reruns. I learned about all these things, and it was very fascinating. And like I said, guys, if you don't know, I work at a bar, and every Wednesday we have trivia night. And I feel like that could be something that could come up as a trivia question, and I'm just going to know the answer to that. You know, like the question could be something along the lines of, what TV show was the first to show a rerun? And I'll be able to say I Love Lucy. And I'll even be able to say why. The question could be, what's the first show to ever show it and why? And I'll know it. And that's something cool that I learned from this documentary. I'm not always the biggest documentary guy. I tend to get bored by them a little bit at times. This one was very interesting, though, and I really enjoyed it. I think Amy Poehler did a great job just bringing together all this footage. Like I said, with like foreign films and bad films, I think there are times where we just need to watch things that we're not comfortable with, or watch things that we don't usually enjoy watching, and documentaries are one of them for me. And I'm glad I watched this documentary, because I've learned a lot, not just about TV, but about movies as well. And that's very important to me. It's very fascinating to me. There's actually a couple documentaries that I really want to get into that are on HBO Max, one about movies and one about Spielberg that I really want to watch before. There's a Spielberg movie coming out this year. I believe Paul Dano's playing his dad or something like that. And I want to watch that before that comes out and such like that. So there's a lot of documentaries I'm hoping to get into this year, starting with this one too. And part of it was because of Being the Ricardos, which I also want to talk about a bit again. If I did talk about this last week, I honestly don't remember if I did. And it's driving me nuts because I thought I did. What's this doing my phone? Location. Maps. Huh, okay. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, that's Find My Technology thing. I just, see, guys, I am really playing with technology, I'm telling you here. Is this still working? I think it's still working. Okay. Being the Ricardos, guys. I don't know if I talked about this movie last week. I really do not remember if I did. If I didn't, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it this week. If I did, we're going to talk about it a little bit more this week. So Being the Ricardos was directed by Alan Sorkin and written by Alan Sorkin. And it's about Lucille Ball and Desi. And it kind of goes through like a week of their life and talks about things that the documentary Lucy and Desi focused on. And the thing I can say about the documentary is it felt like Amy Poehler saw an early screening of Being the Ricardos and went, that's not actually what happened, and kind of pulled some footage and made her own documentary instead to make it actually accurate. Because what I've learned is that Being the Ricardos is all crap. There's some things that are accurate. For example, their co-stars in I Love Lucy, I don't remember the names. They're played by J.K. Simmons and that other lady, but they didn't get along, which was true. And from what I learned from the documentary and from watching the movie is that Lucy and Desi kind of pulled things from real life. They very much had a big part in what was going on in the TV show. They wanted to make sure things were funny. If they didn't like it, they would go back. So Being the Ricardos, it was not accurate. And I did not love Being the Ricardos. It was fine. Nothing spectacular. Probably the worst Aaron Sorkin movie he's directed. Probably one of the worst he's written, honestly, in my opinion. So yeah, again, if I talked about this last week, I apologize. If I didn't, well, I'm talking about it now. Being the Ricardos to me is like a 6 out of 10. It wasn't that good. And I could tell that none of these things actually happened in a week. That they just kind of, he wrote it all in as a week for movie's sake, and it just wasn't that great. But the documentary was much more informative, much better. I give that documentary like a solid 8 out of 10. So maybe watch Being the Ricardos and then watch Lucy and Desi. See what you think about Being the Ricardos. This is an Amazon original movie, as it says on the poster there. I think you can tell. That's the other thing that's great about my phone camera here, guys, is I think you can actually read things. From what it looks like on my camera there, you can pretty much tell. But anyways, guys, yeah. Being the Ricardos and Desi and Lucy and Desi were two really great things to watch together. And at the end of the day, I was kind of disappointed by Being the Ricardos. I really had hoped it was going to be better. The Lucy and Desi documentary, I don't usually like documentaries. I enjoyed that one. And I'm glad I watched it. So yeah, that's kind of the Lucy and Desi thing. I do want to watch I Love Lucy now. I want to see what essentially created TV almost in a sense. And what like they were talking about in the movie Being the Ricardos in the documentary, how they couldn't say like pregnant on TV. That was a bad thing. And just watching a show like Peacemaker now, how much that's changed. I mean, there can be full-fledged sex on TV now. Even like cable TV, there's very much implied sex. There's a fuzz on my computer. I can take it off. There's implied sex and stuff like that. And basically naked people on screen. That could not happen back in the day. And it's just so interesting how much things have changed. And that's something that I found fascinating with watching these one feature movie, one documentary. Just how much things have changed. And it is just fascinating to watch both of them. So yeah, that's about where I'm at with that. Again, like I said, probably an 8 out of 10 on Lucy and Desi documentary. 6 out of 10 on Being the Ricardos. It's a good movie, but it's just not. It's well made. It's just well acted. It's not that good of a movie. I think the writing, for the most part, is what really brings the movie down. Aaron Sorkin's writing, which is not something you would usually say about an Aaron Sorkin film. But anyways, that's how it is. Here we go. Next up, guys, I went and saw Spider-Man No Way Home for the 8th time last night. Guys, I just love this movie. And I was so happy going last night because there was 7 or 8 people in the theater with me. 13 weeks after this movie has came out. And 8 people are still in my theater watching it in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. That might sound crazy to some of you who live in bigger cities or something like that, but 8 people still going to see this movie 13 weeks out. And not only that, guys, I didn't realize it till today, but this movie's available on digital. I can literally watch this at home now. And 8 people are still going to go see this movie. It's fantastic to me. I can tell some of these people had not seen this movie before either. There was some older people there that were legit shocked by, spoiler alert, Tobey and Andrew Garfield showing up in this movie. And it made me so happy all over again, because the last time I saw this movie, I was completely by myself in a theater. I think the time before that, I was completely by myself too. So it's just great that 13 weeks out, this movie is still getting people who haven't seen it into the theater. We do not need this movie on digital today, guys. Don't buy it on digital. Go see it in the theater. There's plenty of people who are still going to see it in theaters. And it makes me so happy it just makes me so happy. It really does, guys. And it's still in the top of the box office. It was still number 5 this week. And I think worldwide, did it make more money than Uncharted? I think it still did, or it was very close to Uncharted. So this movie is still making money, guys. We do not need movies coming straight to freaking streaming services. We don't need this. Theaters can stay alive. They can. We don't need Batman going to HBO Max next month. Let it sit in theaters and be something for people to see in theaters. Not everyone can go see a movie the first, second, third week out. It just doesn't work like that all the time. Yes, the diehard fans, they're going to go to the movies that first, second, third week. They might go 3 times, like I have to see this movie 8 times. But the point is we need to keep the theater alive. I want it to be in theaters. I really do. This movie is such a great theater watch. Am I going to go buy this movie out on physical copy? Because we shouldn't be watching movies on digital. I hate that shit. I'm ranting today. Am I going to go buy this movie from Best Buy, get that steel book that looks freaking fantastic? Yes, I will. And will I watch it at home? Yes. But I'm going to go see this movie as much as I can in theaters. And I did go see it again for the 8th time. Such a great movie to watch in theaters. Yes, there's problems with the movie. There's little things that happen throughout this movie that bug me a little bit. Certain character choices that are stupid. Like, why are we bringing all these evil villains back to an apartment building where they can just get out and wreak havoc? I don't know, because we want to cure them. But still, couldn't you just kind of cure them without having to bring them? Or bring that fancy Tony Stark equipment to the dungeon? I don't... There's a lot of things in this movie that just don't... There's plot holes. I'll give it that. But it's still a great movie to watch. It's a great Spider-Man movie. Just everything you want in a movie. This is such a good movie, guys. I love Spider-Man No Way Home. Willem Dafoe in this movie. Freaking Alfred Molina in this movie. Just all of them are fantastic. This is such a good movie. Such a good movie. Such a good movie. Cheers to this movie. That's what I say. I just love Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, let's get to the last movie I've seen this week. Another crappy one. Guys, it's Hotel Transylvania 4. What is it called? Transformania. Why did I watch this movie? Because, like I said, this week has been about watching some crappier movies to understand what a good movie is. Now, is this movie awful? No. It's a kid's movie. It's not meant for me. I didn't love the first Hotel Transylvania. Didn't love the second one. Didn't love the third one. I don't love the fourth one. Surprise. But even Adam Sandler and Kevin James, who were in the last 3 ones, weren't in this one. That shows you something. Like I said, this movie's fine. It's not awful. The plot of this one is that Dracula's son-in-law, I don't even remember his name, and I just watched this movie not even an hour ago. Is it Jackson or something? I don't remember. Anyways, he turns himself into a monster and turns a couple of the monsters into human people, so they have to take this road trip to Africa, South Africa, to go find this gem to fix the thing that his son-in-law broke when turning them into monsters and non-monsters, so that they can turn themselves back into monsters and non-monsters. You've seen this movie before. This movie has jokes that you've seen in 100 different movies before. This movie is very blah. It's very but it's for kids. I don't know. It's fine. It's a 4 out of 10 for me. There's some jokes in this movie that are just awful that you've seen 100,000 times. And when Adam Sandler and Kevin James don't even return, that shows you something. Adam Sandler's like the one that got this all started, and he didn't even want to return for this one. That shows you something. I don't think the writing's very good in this movie. I don't think the story's very good. The direction's not that great. I don't think the jokes are very good. It's all terrible slapstick humor that just sucks at the end of the day. It's not that good of a movie. But for kids, again, another Amazon original movie. It went straight to Amazon. So if you want your kids to leave you alone while you clean your kitchen, I guess this is one to watch. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is what it is. Sorry, I have the burps. I'm not drunk, I promise you. I just haven't eaten much today. I had Lucky Charms for breakfast. We're going to go off on a side tangent here. We're going to talk a little bit about Cody's life. I started having cereal for breakfast because I found the 2 Dunkin' Donuts cereal and a chocolate Lucky Charms, and I was like, well, I just gotta try it. And they're not good, and they don't fill me up. They're nothing, and I just don't like cereal. But sometimes I just gotta try them. I get into these moods, kind of just like how I watch bad movies sometimes, like I did this week. It's just been a week, guys. It really has. But yeah, that's the last movie I watched this week. I know I haven't watched a whole heck of a lot. I've been busy. And I hate how busy I've been, and I don't know, I might need to make a change. There might be some changes. Anyways, guys, let's talk about a movie coming out this week that I hope to see. It's called X. Now, I know I've watched a trailer for this, and I thought it was like an Evil Dead reboot or an Evil Dead sequel to that one that came out in like 2016 or something like that. That wasn't 2016, it was like 2014. Whatever, the point is, X. I've seen a trailer. It looked alright. This movie looks weird and interesting. I plan to go see it probably on Monday, maybe. I don't know. My life is so out of my control at this point. But yeah, it's the only real movie coming out. I don't know nothing about it. I think it's just like a group of people go to this weird house to film a movie. And I think it's a horror movie they're filming. And it turns out it's like real life. People are trying to kill them or something like that. A24 film, I think, too. Yeah, A24. A24 film. So, you know, it's going to get weird and interesting. I'm excited to see this movie. But not, like, over the moon excited. So, we'll see what happens. Well, yeah, guys, that's about it for this week's podcast. I know I'm a little all over the place. Like I said, I am just tired and burnt out and exhausted. And hopefully there are changes coming to my life soon that I can just make some changes. Because my life is just getting to be a little crazy and yeah. But anyways, guys, if you are watching this, I know no one really watches this and I don't care. Maybe the quality of video will help. Feel free to put down in the comments what you're drinking as you're watching this, what movies you're watching, what movies you'd like me to talk about. I'll watch movies that you want me to watch. I like watching new movies or talking about movies that are not necessarily good like I did this week, or amazing movies that I can talk 3 hours about. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this video. I think it's going to be in 2 parts because I think somehow I cut it off at one point or something like that. But yeah, guys, I hope you have a great week, and I hope to see you next week. We'll see you next time. Oh, actually, before I head off, I have to work next Tuesday. So this video might be up a little later or a little sooner. I might pre-record it on Monday or something. Just so you know. Not that you care because, well, like I said, no one's really watching these. But anyways, guys, you have a great week. We will see you soon.